Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Alan Slade at ringside in Hollywood, ready to get underway with another full card of main event wrestling. In just a moment, we'll move up into the ring and take on the big events as they come up. At ringside, our main event, Gorgeous George versus Wwe Strode. As you can see, Jeffers, George's man, comes into the ring, and we'll be ready with the presentation in just Gorgeous George and Wwe Strode. Jeffers, George's man, spraying the insecticide, perfumed insecticide. We're just going to get a little away from it. Around the ring, part of the regular ceremony to protect George's tender skin, his curly locks, and so forth. Woodrow Wilson Strode, the former UCLA All-American end, professional football player, now one of the top wrestling attractions in the United States. Waiting for Gorgeous George to enter the ring. Here goes the white bath mat. This is quite a presentation. Gorgeous George of Beaumont, California, will soon be making his entrance into the ring. The Human Orchid, complete with Georgie pins, Georgie pins, and the entire makeup that makes for one of the greatest presentations in wrestling today. And here he comes, Gorgeous George with his police escort. And here he is, Gorgeous George. Color or no color, this would be a beautiful costume. It's an amazing red. We should be a fashion expert for this. It's an amazing, it's a red, a persimmon red color with sequins in large and small circles in and out. A beautiful gown, or robe, or whatever it is. Jeffers, Gorgeous George man, removing the Georgie pins from his tightly pinned curls. Small gold Georgie pins. This is the fabulous Gorgeous George. Here's the ceremony of throwing to the peasants the Georgie pins, fabulous gold bobby pins. And there they are, and a lovely young lady in the first row gets one on one side, a gentleman for his lady friend on the other. There goes another. And back to the fans. This is part of the ceremony that has made Gorgeous George one of the greatest wrestling attractions in the history of the game. The absolute contrast between the two principals in the match is amazing. Not only in Wwe Strode's quiet, simple appearance, standing very quietly, plain white robe with a yellow tie cord. Gorgeous George with the pomp and ceremony that has marked his each and every performance. And when off comes the robes, flashing dynamite. Here's our ring announcer, Harry Diamond.
Big time wrestling to the Control Valley. The manager is the promoter of the Indio Athletic Club, Wwe Wvr. Weighing 211 pounds, a great athlete, former star of UCLA football star, Wwe Strode.
Introduction for Woodrow Wilson Strode, Wwe Strode, one of the old-time football greats, University of California, Los Angeles.
From post to post, the outstanding wrestler of the world, the human record, the one and only Gorgeous George.
Introductions being made for Gorgeous George and Wwe Strode, and now it's time for wrestling. Time for wrestling, and Gorgeous George, the human orchid, versus All-American football star Wwe Strode. Here's a contrast. George about 3 inches shorter than Wwe Strode, and George is questioning referee Stan Pinto's instructions already, and Woody has to be stripped right down so that George can examine him. Here's an athlete that is really an athlete in every meaning of the word, every essence of the word. Wwe Strode is an athlete in every muscle and fiber. Gorgeous George is already objecting to taking off his beautiful crimson robe, persimmon red robe, we should say. Stan Pinto is giving him a little trouble. Stan Pinto, the referee, orders that the robe be taken off. And now it's Jeffers to step forward and perform the ceremony that marks the disrobing of Gorgeous George. Wwe Strode has developed into one of the fastest athletes in the ring, one of the fastest athletes in the world. He's one of the most versatile, having played in many sports. He's a track man, a shot putter, football player, basketball star. Woodrow Wilson Strode versus the human orchid Gorgeous George himself, belying the fact that he wears these beautiful costumes, comes out as trim and sharp an athlete as one could expect. George has had to uphold all of these various things that have been said about him with his wrestling prowess, and he can do just that, taking tight check on his curls, and he wants to keep them that way. Wwe Strode watches very carefully all the way through. George is very touchy about that hair. Wwe Strode getting in the first lick. That's the thing the crowd waits to see, for George's opponents to mess his hair, and he likes to get in there and mess it up himself if it's going to be messed up. Wwe reminds us of a tiger, the way he's slim and trim. Every bit of him just bone and muscle all the way through, every fiber, not an ounce of fat. Eyes a little bit more than Wwe Strode. Step over toe hold, mighty effective weapon with a tall man against a short man. Working right into a toe hold along with it. George trying to break it up with his right foot, and he's not able to get it up there far enough. Ref Stan Pinto wants to know if George will give up again. As we said before, Wwe is trying for submission holds all the way through. If he can give this man enough punishment and get him to submit, he's got to fall. over the ropes enough to stop, and Woody doesn't want to crawl out of this. He doesn't trust Gorgeous George too much, so he works very slowly. Moving in for a flying tackle was Woody Strode, able only to make a leg snatch, but again, right back in. Try to step over toe hold, and George. That's what makes the man great. That's what makes the man great. He's able to think fast. He thinks on his feet. He thinks on his stomach. He's able to get around and move out, do the unexpected. Gorgeous George moves in a peculiar position. He doesn't appear to offer any defense, and yet it's right there when it's needed. And again, the eye tactic. Stan Pinto can only ask, what are you doing? George says, I'm pushing him with the palm of my hand. What did you think I was doing? Woody Strode with a quarter Nelson moves in and is picked up in a semi-airplane spin. Right back down again, too.
Time's up, Rep. Come on. Fight him! Woody! Fight him! Fight him! 15 minutes.
Woody, you have to give him the referee ball.
Kill him, George!
Left is gone.
I knew he was going to do it because George was that head
Oh, beautifully done. This is one of the most difficult holds of all to get out of. And Woody Strode is just the boy that can do it. That tremendous spin. It's kind of rough on the noggin, but he gets out of it in that fashion. It's practically impossible to hold him when he goes spinning out of it. Picture yourself in there once, just once. Away from the camera, George's knee is right on Woody's head.
See that, Woody?
His knee is rubbing right back and forth across his ear, and Woody says, no, give up.
Why don't you...
That's George you heard. Why don't you give up, he says. Punishing arm lock and the knee across the head of Woody Strode's enough to make everyone give up. And Woody says no. Do it. This boy just won't stop. Away from the camera, George is trying to bang Woody's head. He's not only trying, he's doing, banging it right into the ring corner. Ooh, right into the neck. Here he goes, reverse body slam. Woody comes up on his feet, a beautiful body block. And down goes Mr. Gorgeous George. 1, 2, 3, and it's Woody Strode. Woody Strode. Woody Strode, the winner over Gorgeous George in 17 minutes and 44 seconds. 17 minutes and 44 seconds. Woody Strode, the winner over Gorgeous George. Now it's wrestling between Gorgeous George, the Human Orchid, and Woody Strode, the former UCLA All-American football star. Getting off to a start with an argument, Gorgeous George and Woodrow Wilson Strode. George at 205, Woody Strode 211 pounds. George of Beaumont, California wants to shake hands with Woody and get this thing off to a nice equal start. Woody says no! Gorgeous George, the fabulous Human Orchid of Beaumont, California. Woody Wilson Strode, Los Angeles, All-American Flash, one of the great athletes of the Southland. Third man in the ring is Stanley Pinto. Stan Pinto counting the falls, watching very closely. Pinto, watching the shoulders, is unable to see the action on the opposite side, being the only official in the ring. Naturally, he has to call what he sees.
Give him a fast count. All the way down. All the way. Give him a fast count.
George is still maintaining, it's away from the camera, George is still maintaining a wrist lock on Woody Strode, and Woody's unable, it's almost a hammer lock. It's a wrist lock pulled around almost into the hammer position, but Woody with his right arm can still hold that balance. Now he had to release it. A little bit too much pressure on that left arm.
Come on, it's down there.
George holding the trunks. Woody Strode moving in for a leg split. One of the most painful holds in wrestling. Here he goes again. Woody trying for a submission, working an ankle lock right around into that leg split, and Gorgeous George says, no, no, I won't stop. Ooh, that hurts every time he does it. And Woody pulls him away from the ropes. Well, there's a picture. There's George sneaking through. Beautiful, beautiful. The Maltese cross. It's one of the most effective holds. Woody looks like he's pinned, but he's able to get that one shoulder up just a little bit. Can't hold it. That's pretty powerful, or a pretty painful hold for the man applying the hold. He can only hold it for a while. If he doesn't pin him then, he's got to release part of it because it stops the blood in his own right leg, stops the circulation of the blood. So George had to give up what is usually a very effective hold. It has to be applied very quickly, held very, very firmly, otherwise it's not effective at all. This boy's fast, this Strode. Woodrow Wilson Strode. George is trying to kick out of that, and he does it. George says he has heart trouble. He says, oh, my heart, and he's standing back. Woody doesn't know whether to move in or not. Stan Pinto asks George if he surrenders the match. Stan Pinto, the referee, is asking George if he wants to stop the match. And it was a fake, apparently. George moves in on Woody Strode. And it's all over. Gorgeous George. In a step over toe hold, bouncing off the ropes. Enough to burst a man in two. Wins over Woody Strode in 8 minutes and 22 seconds. Gorgeous George, the winner over Woody Strode, Woodrow Wilson Strode. Big-time wrestling, big-time Hollywood wrestling. Gorgeous George and Woody Strode moving into the center of the ring. Gorgeous George, the fabulous human orchid of Beaumont, California. Woodrow Wilson Strode, former All-American football player, UCLA. George moves right in and quick gets out, kick in the chin. Beautiful somersault by Gorgeous George. Very effective. Woody seems to have a little something wrong with his knee. He may have thrown it out just on that kick. His left knee appears to be giving him a little trouble. It's hard to say. From this distance, we'll have to watch and see how he reacts to various movements. George seems to sense something wrong with that knee. He's going after it, and Woody's dancing around, keeping his left leg away. Woody is definitely having trouble with his left knee. Off balance, he's having a hard time staying in. George goes after that left knee of Woody Strode, and Woody is having a very, very bad time. Can't quite tell what seems to be amiss with Woody Strode's knee. You can't tell if it's jutting out or if it's always been that way. We have to watch. George seems to sense, and it's quite obvious, of course, with Woody limping around as he is. George is going after that bad left leg of Woodrow Wilson Strode. And this match may be over just as quick as it has started. Stan Pinto, the third man in the ring. The referee says, what do you say, Woody? What do you say?
Please don't throw anything. Woody.
A lot of strength in those arms. Stan Pinto said that old face lock just won't go in this league. It's all over. A submission hold. The winner is Gorgeous George over Woodrow Wilson Strode. The human orchid, the winner over Woody Strode on a submission hold. In about 4 minutes, we'll have to get the exact time on that. 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Gorgeous George, the winner over Woody Strode. And that's another wrestling event. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be looking for you next time for another big-time Hollywood wrestling card. This is Alan Slade at ringside saying thanks for being with us.